There we go. Welcome. So yeah, it's the 13th annual Gingerbread Showcase. This year we're back and in person. For those of you who have been involved or known about the event for years prior, last year looked a little bit different. We had the gingerbreads in 10 different locations across town, and to keep that physical distancing, we had people view them through the windows. And it was still a fun year, and I think it brought joy to a lot of people in Victoria, which was what we really wanted to do, was bring that holiday fun and that spirit. And it's our premier fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity, and we're so excited to be back in person this year. Of course, things look a little bit different, so we are masked up, and then we also have limits on how many people can come in. You might have seen on your way in that we have a people counter at the front of the Parkside entrance. That's something that's just at the Parkside. We don't have it at the other 3 locations. And what it's doing is it's counting the amount of people coming in and out. The counter sometimes is wrong if people exit before going through properly. So you can text me. I have my number in the volunteer handbook, and we can get that changed. Or you could simply walk out the entrance as many times as you needed to reset the number. But just to warn you there, that is one thing that you might notice, that the count might be off. So we're at the Parkside right now. This is where the bulk of the gingerbreads are. There were supposed to be 9 that made it. We'll have a moment of silence for number 8. It didn't make it over the Malahat with the gas shortage situation and the empty grocery store, so that was sad, but it sounded like it was going to be a really exciting one as well. So that was great. So the pieces that are here, there's 8 here, 3 at the Marriott, 2 at the Doubletree Victoria, and right by their new Starbucks that they've put in, and then 3 in the windows at the Chateau. So there's volunteer opportunities at all 4 of the locations. At the other locations, because there was a smaller number of gingerbreads, we put it for 1 person at a time to volunteer there. And then here we have for 2 people at a time, because it is great if 1 person stands near the exit and another near the front, or you want to bring a friend, like these 2 right here that I know are going to be volunteering together. So that's how that looks. But if you did want to bring a friend to one of the satellite locations when you're volunteering, that's great too. Just to let you know that. The Gingerbread Showcase is our premier fundraising event for Habitat Victoria. It's a great organization. I feel really proud to be involved. I've been here for 2 years now. Just in the last year and a half, I've also taken on the marketing, social media, and a bit of the events as well. So it's been a lot of fun. So the volunteer handbook, I emailed to everybody today. Let me know if you didn't get the email. I've got it on the desk at the Parkside. At the other 3 locations, we don't have a desk area, so we don't have a copy of the volunteer handbook there. So I would recommend that you read it before going, or digest this, or watch the video again of me. Hello. Okay, so these are our sponsors this year. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Really exciting this year. We received our largest donation to Habitat Victoria to date from the Victoria Real Estate Board. They donated $100,000 to Habitat Victoria, which is really, really amazing. That's the largest donation that we've gotten to date. And they've been really involved too. They did speeches last night at the opening reception. We had one of their realtors, Shelley Mann, as one of the judges for the Gingerbread Showcase as well yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It's super cool that way. A lot of you remember Rivera was our title sponsor for many years. They're still super involved this year as our volunteer recognition sponsor. So that'll be for our volunteer wrap-up party that we have at the end of the showcase. They've sponsored that. And then also our hosts. So as many of you know, we're at the Parkside, the Doubletree Victoria, the Victoria Marriott Inner Harbor, as well as the Chateau Victoria. So it's really exciting, a perfect little walking loop. I've done it probably 20 times this week, I can tell you. Great walk, great little walk. And you can get a coffee almost at every place, or a drink if that's what you're into. We've got media sponsors as well. Special shout out to Trade Fantastico. Nas in the back. Hello, hello. Thank you for giving us these amazing cookies and refreshments, and as well their holiday blend of coffee, proceeds from that go to Habitat Victoria, as well as the cookies. The proceeds go towards Habitat Victoria, which is so cool. It'll be for the duration of the showcase as well. So if you need a snack while you're on shift, you might want to get a cookie. Oh, here's a fun part. So this has been the biggest year to date for Habitat Victoria. We've served 9 families this year, which is, to put it in perspective, we served 23 families, I believe, before that, and since 1990, which is really exciting. And we did that through building 10 townhomes in North Saanich. I don't know if anyone's seen them. So they're called Bakerview Place in North Saanich. It's really exciting. We just started building it when I first started with Habitat 2 years ago, so I've gotten to see all through the entire experience. And then also as part of my role as a volunteer coordinator, as I work directly with all of the volunteers to get their 500 partnership hours with Habitat Victoria. So that's part of their agreement, is they do 500 hours of volunteer service. So that's at things like the Gingerbread Showcase. A lot of it was during COVID, so their option was the Restore. So they've spent countless hours in the Restore volunteering. You see at the top is our main mission at Habitat Victoria, which is bringing communities together to help families build strength, stability, and independence through affordable homeownership. So you hear that a lot through Victoria. Habitat Victoria, the affordable homeownership piece is our main thing. And then here's our families here, some of them that we've served this year in our Bakerview project. So we've got Siobhan and Steve, Christy and John, who spoke last night at the kickoff reception, Karen, Peter, Tina and New, who are actually volunteering tomorrow. I just got off the phone with them on the way here, which is very exciting. And Aaron, who was actually in a single home build. So it's been really cool too, because they've all been volunteering together. So they built their community before they even moved into their community. And it was really fun to see. Any questions? Cool. So this year's theme of the Gingerbread Showcase is the future of home. I thought we were going to see all spaceships and UFOs and things like that. And so I've been surprised and very happy to see how different people have interpreted it. You'll see if you do the walking tour to see everything. People have looked at energy conservation. Mother Nature is out there herself. So it's been really interesting to see the way that people have interpreted the theme and taken that for their own meaning in their art, which is very cool. I'm ahead of myself. So this one's just talking about, again, the 500 hours of volunteer service that that families complete before they join on with Habitat Victoria. Yeah, and they have to complete 250 of those hours before they can move into their home. So there's often a lot of volunteer work going on to get to move into the home. Here's a photo of our Bakerview Build. One thing, if you know anybody, we're still looking for 2 families for the build to move in. So you can go on our website, habitatvictoria.com, and look at the Homeownership Inquiry tab, and send people that way. If you look at our qualifications, things like willingness to partner, living in need for a place, so maybe the place where they're living right now is not adequate space for everybody. They have to have children. Yeah, and then there's an income threshold as well. Any questions from that? You're a quiet bunch. I should throw in more gingerbread jokes next time.
Do you have any initiatives that are Melford, or are you
Sorry?
the next project? Is it different if you have that down the road? Is it finished?
Yeah, we're looking for our next project right now. So our biggest challenge with that is the price of land right now is the biggest challenge. So we're in discussions, looking for land that we can build homes on and keep it affordable as well. So if anyone has any land Phone, give it to me. No, just kidding. Sorry. Habitat. Yeah, so that's our biggest challenge is finding land. Yeah. This piece of land was donated to us from local developers. The moment you've all been wondering about what's it like to volunteer at the showcase. And I had to pop Selena in there with Mother Nature. I'm not sure if you've walked by it yet, but it's so incredible what she created. If you've been with us in the past, Selena baked the one last year that was a lighthouse in the window of the DoubleTree, and then the year before the stump with the critters all up of it. Yeah, really cool. She was telling us last night some of her tips and tricks of what she used, and the head, you'll go see it after if you haven't seen it yet. The head of Mother Nature is made with molding chocolate. But it's incredible to hear what people are using to make these creations, because they do have to be 100% edible. Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Very cool. Yeah, so you're probably all wondering what it's like to volunteer at the showcase, since that's why we're here. It's fun. Okay, everybody can leave. No, just kidding. That was a joke. Yeah, so when you arrive, if you're arriving at the park side, you'll check in at the volunteer table. When we're done, I can take everybody for a walk to the atrium just to show you. If you're volunteering at one of the satellite locations, it looks a little bit different. You're gonna check in at the hotel reception. So they have a clipboard there, and then you'll write your name down under the day and the time that you were there. So that'll be what that looks like. And then they'll take care of that. But if you are volunteering the last shift here at Parkside, you'll take the volunteer sheet for the day and put it in the donation drop box. That's the same with the waiver. If you wanted to take it home and fill it out today, when you come for your first shift, you can put it in the donation drop box as well. So no need to worry about that. The next thing you'll want to know is where can you keep your things. At the Parkside, you can keep them under the volunteer table if you're comfortable with that. And then that's where it comes in at the satellite locations. We don't have a secure place to keep your things. So try to bring pockets so that you can keep your personals or maybe a bag or a small backpack on you. So that's something to keep in mind when you're selecting where you're going to volunteer as well. The washrooms in the Parkside are located not over the bridge, but to the right of the volunteer table. I'll point those out to you. I've written down where you can find the washrooms at the other hotels as well, but they're pretty simple, and the concierges are super friendly and can help you with that as well. Another thing you can make sure that we have, especially at the Parkside, is making sure that the envelopes for voting are filled, so I've kept them under the table. We've given extras to the hotel reception at the other locations so they can keep those. And then another new thing this year is the Tiptap Payments. So I'm not sure if you've seen them before. In past years we had credit card payments, and we found that to be quite bulky and kind of challenging for some volunteers. So we got rid of that. We don't have to worry about that anymore because the Tiptap Payments work for themselves. So what they are is they're a payment system where you can pay with your card or your phone if you have tap payment from that. I haven't quite figured that one out yet, but if you figured that out, congratulations. You can do it that way as well. So each one of them is coded for the gingerbread number, so people can go and tap their card to vote. It's a $5 donation, and then they can pay and donate that way as an easy way. If not, they can do it old school with the envelope. And I can show you when we go out to the atrium as well, a copy of the envelope. It's quite simple. Yeah. Other things you can do is making sure the pencils are stocked. If people want to chat a little bit about Habitat Victoria, you can share with them what you've learned in the orientation, or you can give them a brochure, or you could send them to our website as well. Yeah. Do it. Yes.
So can you clarify, so is there a tab in each of the eight?
Yeah, each gingerbread has its own tab.
And so you're voting, so if you choose to tap at that particular one, you're voting.
Yeah, and I put the number on the tab as well as on the gingerbread so people know which one goes with which. I should have put a picture of that instead of the cute gingerbread man so I could show you guys. But I'll show you when we go out into the atrium. But it's quite interesting. I did see that other charities around town are using it as well for their holiday campaigns. So that was nice to see.
And when you talk about envelopes, are you talking about cash donations?
Yeah. Yeah, cash donations or check, yeah.
Yeah, then you put the number on what they want.
Yeah, and if they, I have it on the next slide, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if they do want a tax receipt, they have to make sure they fill out all of that information on the envelope. Here's the info on the tax receipt, so they have to make sure they filled out that form correctly, the envelope, and then with us at the office, we'll mail them a tax receipt within 5 to 7 days.
At the end, 1 year in the satellite area, or do you put the envelopes back to the front desk or the serve box?
So yeah, we've got a donation drop box at each satellite, and it's locking. So, and then we'll empty that every couple days, but you don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah. So if people are wondering as well how they can volunteer, you can take their information as well and contact them. Here we go, before your shift. So we just want to make sure you're dressed in business casual, but if you got a funky holiday sweater you want to wear it, that's fine. We have a group actually coming in who likes to dress in Victorian style, they told me. I said, yes please, that sounds awesome, that's going to bring fun. So if you've got something fun, do it. Yeah, so we ask no chewing gum when you're speaking with people, if that's okay. If you need it for a little refresher, take a little 5-minute break, that's okay, off to the side with your chewing gum. Read the handbook, or, yeah. Mask at all times, yeah. So sign in on the daily sheet, so that does look different depending on where you are, as I mentioned. So it's on the desk at the Parkside here, and then it's with the hotel reception at the other 3 satellite locations. And you guys know what I mean when I'm talking about satellite locations. It's the ones that we're not at right now. Yeah. And then, yeah, again, the waiver, I brought some today. If you want to sign that out now, or if you want to take it home and put it in the donation drop box before your first shift, that's great too. Any questions? Yeah.
Any tips on parking?
It's going to be challenging at some of the locations. They told me Friday and Saturday evenings are their most busiest time. Other than that, you should be able to get parking. For the park side here, you arrive and you buzz the intercom and let them know that you're a volunteer with Habitat, and you can go into their underground parking. The other locations have asked me to tell you to ask at the reception to see if there is parking available. I think we had another question here. So of course I always have to do a plug for the Restore. These 2 right here know what it's like to volunteer at the Restore. How many of you have been to the Restore? Awesome. Cool. So we have 2 Restores. The Uptown Restore on Oak Street, 3311, and then in West Shore as well, 849 Arona. That's where my office is as well. So if you come say hi to me, for sure. So the Restore is all donated product from private donations, as well as companies donate to us as well. It's one of my favorite parts about Habitat is the waste diversion that we do. So we say it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find at the Restore. Could be anything. So it's drop-off donations, it's building supplies, it's furniture, it's house goods, housewares, different things like that. And we have volunteers like these 2 lovely ladies right here. So if you're ever interested in a more long-term and ongoing volunteer role with us at the Restores, I do have to brag, we've got some pretty cool teams. So yeah, there's my info. I also do the social media, so I have to ask you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Habitat Victoria, at Restore Victoria. Click like and subscribe. And thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for volunteering. Seriously, we couldn't do this without volunteers, both volunteers at the Gingerbread Showcase, the volunteer bakers who put in hundreds of hours. This event, as you'll see, is entirely volunteer run once it gets going, and it is amazing. We get way more donations, way more engagement, way more positive feedback when there's a wonderful person or two people greeting people, bringing that holiday spirit, and letting them know that we appreciate them being here and visiting. So thank you to everybody.